All right, let's get into it. Got the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte today, pairing it with the 14600K. We're going to be checking it out at 1440p resolution. And right here, we're on the very lowest preset, no upscaling and no frame generation. We're rocking around 106, 103, 108, a little over 100 FPS here with everything pretty much dropped out to low. Let's just keep on going through these settings and see what we need to do. Once things start to get a little harder to run, we're going to kick on some upscaling. So we're going to go to medium. We're going to turn all this off, come down here, and kick all this stuff off real quick for us, just to make sure we have a nice clean test. All right, everything looks pretty good here, so let's just keep rolling. All right, so medium gives us about 85, 82 FPS, so still no need to upscale yet. We're still looking really good. 1440p tends to be handled pretty well by this card. Mainly the addition of the multi-frame generation really does come into play and help us out. I've got my PCL monitor up there. It's at 31 milliseconds, so we're going to keep an eye on that, especially once we start to do some frame generation. So right here, we're looking pretty good. This backstretch tends to run a little bit better. So 91 FPS here. Yeah, looking really good. All right, once I make this turn up here, I'll make those adjustments for you, and we'll go up to high. So I'm just gonna make sure I don't hit anybody and get any cops on me. So let's just keep going through it. So we've got settings here. Let's go up to that very next level of high. I'm not gonna use any sort of DLSS at all right now. Just keep on going through it, keep everything nice and simple. All right, so this is currently set to the high preset. We're still at 77 FPS, so still no need to upscale at all. Still running really, really well. Allocated VRAM's at 6.2 gigs, and yeah, everything seems to be just fine here. Again, no need to upscale yet. That'll tend to probably come into play once we start to utilize some ray tracing, and then of course we'll lean on that DLSS to get those frames back up. All right, so let's just keep on rolling through here, get this back stretch, open her up a little bit, try not to wreck. Here we're looking about 78 FPS. Very nice, very nice. All right, make this turn, do some adjustments. All righty, there we go. Jump into it. All right, so settings, and I'm gonna come up here and go to the Ultra preset. And this is, of course, no upscaling still, and no path tracing, no ray tracing. Nothing like that, so we're just going to keep on rolling. All right, so this is the Ultra preset, and that still gives you right at 63 FPS, 58, so it's dropping under just a hair here and there. I still would probably say that you know, a quality upscale would be not a bad idea. We'll go ahead and make that adjustment, and then keep on going from there. So I'm going to go ahead and start our upscaling. Just jump into it here. Everything looks pretty good. We're just going to go up to that, go up to super resolution, transformer model, of course, and then we're going to use quality upscale. And let's just keep on going through here, make sure nothing got adjusted. It likes to move things around on us quite a bit. I'm going to keep my sharpness off for right now, and then we might need to up it a little bit once we start to do some heavier upscaling, but I'll keep it to a minimum if I can. All right, so that gives us, so that all I did was just go up to quality upscaling, and that brings us back up to 85 FPS. So quite a big difference, and no real visual change that I can really determine. Oh man, the first wreck of the video. Try not to do that too much. All right, so yeah, we are looking about 80 or so FPS. It's usually whenever there's people in my way, I start to wreck. All right, so yeah, let's just keep on going through here. We're at 81, 79 FPS, so still looking really good. Let's go ahead and introduce some ray tracing. Let's come over here, jump over that. Let's go to transformer model. Of course, we're going to need quality, and let's bring this down here. So we've got just local shadows. This tends to be pretty easy to run, not hard at all. So I don't foresee any huge performance hit at all on this. You know, we're still in the 70s. Still looking really good. VRAM allocation went up a little bit since I called it out last time. We're just at 7.3 though, so really, you know, I mean, they do make an 8 gig version of this card, so as long as you see that under 8 gigs, it's kind of safe to assume that that's where it would perform, but it will start to creep up, especially once we start to frame generate. It'll start to utilize some of that VRAM, so Still recommend the 16 gig version of this card, but with you know, prices being what they are, you know, I can't blame anyone for wanting to save a little bit of money. But yeah, this is definitely the 16 gig. All right, so yeah, let's just keep running through here. Open it up. Very, very nice. I like to put my camera angle down low whenever I'm driving. Looks kind of cool. You know, it looks like kind of futuristic or whatever. All right, so let's just keep on going. 86 FPS here. So let's just jump into it and come in here and kick it up to that medium ray tracing. So we're still going to use that quality upscale method. This introduces your sun shadows, and it does tend to be a little bit more difficult to run typically. So we're going to get a little bit of a hit here. I'm not sure how much of one. All right, so yeah, that drops us to just under 60. Still not a bad experience at all. Really, at this point, you could, if you wanted to, theoretically frame generate and be okay. I tend to lean on DLSS to keep me over 60 before I do any frame generation, though. But, you know, to each their own, it can be done. But yeah, really the next level of ray tracing is when things start to really get beautiful, is when those reflections come in. But yeah, we're just going to keep on going through here and see what we can expect. All right, so I'm going to jump up on my upscaling just because we are getting under 60 even on this back stretch. So just going to go up to balanced, and that should kick us over 60 for the most part, most of the time at least. Which is kind of what you want. You know, this isn't a competitive title, so around 60 is generally fine. All right, so let's come around here. All right, so about 65. It tends to run a little bit worse over on this roundabout, so I'm going to get over there first just to give you guys those numbers. But calling out our PCL, it's still around 34 milliseconds, so it's still really good, nice and responsive. All right. Looks pretty good. Stayed around 68 around that roundabout, so that's a pretty good sign. All right, now the next level will be the highest level of ray tracing without going to the ray tracing Psycho. You can turn this up here to Psycho, which I'll do that separately, but I just wanted to make sure to run this through one good time. All right, so let's do that ray reconstruction on that. And let's see, we've got the ultra ray tracing. Everything's down here. Auto, we want to control it. So we're going to go back to that balance because that's what we were on first, just to see what we need to do beyond that. So let's keep on going through here, get rid of all this stuff. All right, and let's keep going. All right, so ultra ray tracing, which gives us those nice, beautiful reflections. We're still at 56 FPS here on balanced DLSS. Go around here, try not to wreck. I tend to wreck when I talk too much. All right, so we're still at 58 FPS here, so this would be another good setting to frame generate from without any sort of issues. But notice our VRAM allocation, we are well into the well over the 8 gigs that the other model has on this, you know, particular 5060 Ti. So you know, if you're considering that one, just, you know, kind of pay attention to that probably the most, because the 16 gig, it never really goes anywhere close to going over, but the 8 gig definitely would. So I'm trying to kind of call that out separately because otherwise they're identical cards. All right, so we're at 54 FPS here with the ultra ray tracing. So I am going to kick it up to performance and then see where we're at there. So leave everything else the same, kick it up to performance. I'm going to sharpen it up just a little bit to like 0.2. It is good to remember, as one commenter pointed out, that if your sharpening is too much, it will dramatically kind of expose the ghosting if you have any kind of frame generation going. So you know, just keep that in mind. That's something that I was not aware of, and I really appreciate whenever someone gives me some free education. So yeah, if you're ever on, if you're ever frame generating and you're getting a lot of ghosting, check your sharpness to make sure you pull that down a little bit. It's just the way it works. It can kind of make it worse, you know, more worse than it is, I guess. But right here, yeah, without going to that, without going to Psycho ray tracing, we're looking about 66 here on performance DLSS. A little bit of sharpening, looks really nice. I would absolutely love to, you know, just say like, this is fine. I mean, you don't even really need to go to path tracing. but you know, man, I mean, this for 1440p on a 5060 Ti without any sort of frame generation yet. Oh my God, that was like a Batman move. All right, so yeah, we're at 65 FPS here. I'm gonna go ahead and kick this over. I'm gonna enable that that real-time lighting Psycho, and then just go back into it to see what that does. This is like the highest ray tracing you can go without going to path tracing. And we're still at 70 FPS, 67 FPS, so this is like, quite nice. You're really looking good. Your VRAM's only at about 10.5 of allocation, and we're using about 8.1. So plenty of VRAM left over. Definitely an advantage is that 16 gigabytes of VRAM. That's a really nice thing that this card, this version of the card has. I mean, look at this lighting. It's just amazing. Looks so freaking good. And this isn't even path tracing yet. Now path tracing, we're probably gonna, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do path tracing or not. That's very intensive, but I'm gonna check it out. We're gonna go up to it next and see how this card behaves. We kind of got it to work pretty well with the 5070, but this is of course one card down from that. So we're just gonna see what it looks like. All right, so I'm coming to here. We're gonna go up to that ray tracing overdrive, of course, bring this back over to performance. Then we're going to leave ray reconstruction on, of course, and path tracing supersedes ray tracing. It just kind of like totally takes it out and replaces it. So all this stuff is, going to be pretty intensive to run. Go ahead and apply that, and it might have to think about it for a little bit. No, it didn't. Okay, that's good. All right, so this is still around 43 FPS, which without rolling your eyes too much, your PCL is at 48 milliseconds. And if you're on a controller, this honestly feels pretty good. I mean, this is not something that I would necessarily say is like the worst experience in the world. It feels really, really nice. So there you go. I mean, this is path tracing on the 5060 Ti at 1440p. And it's very much playable. Yeah, it's not 60, but it's very much playable. And, we're going to go, I'm going to do a quick restart because I need to enable some frame generation. And we're going to explore some of these different ray tracing settings with that frame gen enabled and keep an eye on our PCL and, kind of go from there. But yeah, I mean, this is honestly not a bad experience at all if you don't care too much about having, exactly 60. I mean, 48 to 52 FPS is, I consider it playable if it's not a competitive title, especially if you're saving a little bit of cash by going with a 5060 Ti. Just make sure you absolutely get the 16 gig version because we're well over the 8 that the other model comes with here. All right, so I mean, just check this out. This looks so good. Oh my God, man. No game does path tracing like Cyberpunk. There's no comparison. Even for the age of the game, it's just like night and day what you get on this one versus others. Man, it looks good. It's intensive, but it looks good. All right, so let's jump around here, and I'm going to do a quick restart, and I'll be right back. All right, so here we are back in it. We got our frame generation enabled, and our PCL's right there at 45 milliseconds. So this looks really good. Now, I have dropped it down to just the regular ultra ray tracing, so we're not doing path tracing right now, but I did want to show you guys just how nicely it can run with that frame generation on 2X and just the ultra ray tracing. I'm going to jump in and show you those settings real quick just to run through them. So right now we're on ultra ray tracing preset. It says custom, but that's what it is. We're on performance DLSS with a little bit of sharpening. Ray reconstruction is on, and our 2X frame gen is on. And as you can see, everything right here is set to the ultra preset. Now, I'm going to go up right here. I'm just going to drive around a little bit with this setting just so you can guys kind of get like a good view of it, see what you think. But yeah, we're at 112 FPS here, and we are using those, we got ray tracing set to ultra, which gives us those nice reflections. And my driving is getting really bad because I'm talking. But yeah, there's those very nice reflections. Performance DLSS, of course, gives us a really good, nice, stable frame rate to frame generate from. and you know, our PCL is right there at 46 milliseconds, which is just under 50, which is where I kind of like to have it whenever I'm using a controller. And to be honest, like, this is an awesome experience. I mean, the frames are nice, everything's nice and fluid, and you know, you're really just, this is just a beautiful game. And you know, this card is handling 1440 just fine with all the different you know, DLSS features enabled. So let's jump into it down here and go to let's turn on that next little bit of that ray trace lighting. We're going to turn that up to, where is it? There we go. Psycho. So we're going to run through it real quick with the ultimate. This is the highest ray tracing you can do without going to path tracing, and we're still at 92, 93 FPS, more than playable. PCL took a little bit of a jump up, right around 50 now, which again is kind of right where I like to have it. Anything around 50 on a controller is perfectly playable in my opinion. It feels pretty good, and you don't really have to worry too much about anything else. Hopefully I don't hit a cop here. That would not be good. I don't want to deal with all that right now. But yeah, we're looking good here. You know, VRAM allocation is right there at 10.1. So right here, I'm going to kick it up to, I'm going to go through this turn up here, and then I'm going to kick it up to that path tracing again with this frame generation set to 2x, and we're going to go from there. So yeah, I'm going to do that now. And let's see. All right, let's jump over. So we're going to go to Overdrive. We're going to kick it back over to Performance. Ray Reconstruction is on. 2x, we've got path tracing enabled, so we don't have any sort of ray tracing. It's all being superseded by path tracing, which is kind of like the ultimate form of ray tracing. So everything looks good here. So got performance, a little bit of sharpening, 2x. Let's jump into it and see what we can expect. All right, so we're at 80 FPS, and our PCL is around 60 milliseconds, which honestly ain't bad. And it's worth calling out that I have tested other cards, particularly the AMDs, the 9070 XT and the 9060 XT, and whenever path tracing was enabled, there was a lot of locking up, freezing, stutters. It just still does not like path tracing. So if you're really into path tracing, you know, go check out those two videos. I've got them in my playlist. You can absolutely check them out and see what you think personally. But if you want to do path tracing, I would still recommend NVIDIA cards. Now, the AMDs are better. They're absolutely improved, but you know, even a 9070 XT had issues with running path tracing, which we're just not experiencing that at all on the 5060 Ti, and we didn't on the 5070 either. So, you know, I like to call that out, not to you know, be any kind of way against AMD. I actually love the 9070 XT. It's one of my favorite cards this cycle. But if you are really wanting to do path tracing and you're into games that utilize path tracing, I would still recommend, I mean, look at that, going with the RTX cards right now for sure. Now that all could change once Redstone comes out, but we'll have to see, and I'll be, you know, here testing it out for you guys. But hopefully we can get path tracing on AMD cards to be reliable. But anyway, that's my little tangent. Yeah, we're looking like 78, 79 FPS here. Yeah, so I'm going to kick it up to 4x. So this would be 4x path tracing, 4x frame generation with path tracing. All right, let's see here. All right, so that's where your additional VRAM is really going to come into play. That you know, frame generation really likes to eat up a little bit of VRAM. So, but we're still at, our PCL is still at 64 FPS. Now, I will say that I have gone in and this whole test has been done with NVIDIA plus the NVIDIA Reflex Plus Boost enabled. So just make sure you have that enabled. It is really a good technology to keep your PCL nice and low. But 142 FPS, full path tracing at 1440p. Yeah, you can do it. Absolutely can do it. Let's just going to check it out. A little bit of different upscaling technologies. Just go kind of work our way back and see if we can get a little bit clearer image and maintain a nice performance. I'm going to go back up to balanced and see what that does. All right, so mainly we're going to keep an eye on that PCL since we're running frame generation. Yeah, we are a little high on our PCL, 92 milliseconds, 86, but it's not bad. I mean, on a controller, I can tolerate up to about 80 or 90 anyway, and especially on a game that's not competitive, I think you'll be okay. This is just kind of for information purposes, you know, because, you know, everybody's kind of curious what it would do anyway, so I wanted to make sure to show you guys. But yeah, I mean, on balanced DLSS, you're at 123 FPS here. Now you are using more VRAM, but you got plenty. And yeah, you're at 81 milliseconds on your PCL. I'm going to check it out on quality, though, just because I'm curious if that frame generation can make a huge difference or not. So let's see. Let's jump into here. Now, we are on 4X, so, you know, we are really stretching it here. All right, so let's jump into it now. Okay, so since my sharpening is low, it looks like that little yellow dot at the back is actually pretty smooth. I'm going to bring my sharpening up because this is a pretty good demonstration, I believe, of what that comment was talking about. So if you go way too high on your sharpening, see how it's like kind of skipping around? Actually not doing it too bad, but it's doing it a lot more than it was on 0.2. So, you know, verifying that is true here. But yeah, that little yellow dot back there is definitely skipping around a little bit more. And it's just the way that sharpening works. I read up a little bit on it after that comment, and it's definitely true. Your sharpening will make ghosting, you know, a little bit more dramatic, or, you know, worse, I guess, than what it should be. But yeah, we are at 4X frame gen with quality DLSS. Let me double check. I think I see, yeah, quality DLSS with 0.2 sharpening, and our PCL's at 150. Which is high. I mean, that's a very high PCL. And on a controller in a car, I don't really think I can, you know, feel it like I normally would. A little bit of ghosting, especially in some of these like smaller little details, but nothing too bad. I mean, you're running an extreme version of, you know, ray tracing here. Path tracing is absolutely no joke at all. I'm gonna just run through here real quick. Just keep on going. All right. So I'm going to kick it down to just regular ray tracing and watch the frames just go sky high in comparison. So let's come down here. Let's go back to Ultra. Go to Quality, because that was fine. Turn that back on. Let's see here. All right, we've got everything here. Turn that off, 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 off. Let's go. All right. So there we go. So now we are at 144 frames. And our PCL dropped way back down. We're at 65 milliseconds. So if you do want a little bit clearer image with a lower, you know, response time, you could just get rid of that path tracing and go up to ultra ray tracing and, you know, enable that 4X frame gen, and you'll be all right. I mean, look how beautiful this is, and look how, I mean, everything's been so stable. It's just like no crashes, no stutters. It just feels so freaking good. This update has been really nice. It's definitely made this game perform a lot more reliably without having to worry too much about stability issues. But yeah, we are looking good here, and I'm going to wrap it up. If you've enjoyed this, please consider subscribing. If you're you know, not new here, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate the support, and until the very next video, peace.